He is the Chief Executive Officer of LupinLife Consumer Healthcare, where he built the business literally from mind to market. Mr. Anil V. Kaushal.
So I actually admire everyone who set up this business on their own. I think if I may be not very politically correct, being an entrepreneur is more difficult than being an employee.
It's fascinating how you balance intuition, data, and empathy, and the story really brings the innovation process to life.
They take time to trust products because healthcare is all about your body, your health. You have to consume it on a daily basis.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today we are diving into a world that touches every one of us. The world of brands we trust, products we use every day, and the science and strategy that shape them. Our guest today is someone who has built some of India's most loved healthcare and FMCG brands from the ground up. And he's a leader who thinks like a scientist, acts like an entrepreneur, and builds like a CEO. Over 25 years of experience across consumer healthcare, FMCG, food and beverages, and pharmaceuticals, leading everything from innovation to omni-channel strategy, from retail culture to R&D partnerships. Currently, he is the Chief Executive Officer of Lupin Life Consumer Healthcare, where he built the business literally from mind to market, from a startup idea to a full-scale operation, creating iconic brands like Software, Corkle, and V1, and driving exponential growth with innovation at the core. Mr. Anil V. Kaushal, it's such a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today, sir?
Perfect. Thanks for the introduction, Sunny. Thanks for having me. Pleasure connecting with you.
Likewise, looking forward to a great conversation. So, as you know, it's not every day we meet someone who has worn so many hats: pharmacist, marketer, entrepreneur, strategist, and done it all with creativity and passion. So, let's start from the beginning. Mr. Kaushal, could you share your journey with us in your own words? Maybe one or two defining moments that shaped you, a challenge that tested you, and a decision you look back on with pride.
Well, I think challenging yourself is a perpetual issue. And if you're not challenged, then you're not doing something worthwhile. I think that's what I feel. So of course, right from your first, perhaps just completing your education to getting out your first job, the challenges start from first day when you enter the world in different forms. So for me, I would define, if I have to remember, in the business terminology, the challenges have been at different points of time. One, of course, is the glamour of connecting with consumer. I think that's something which attracted me. But what it appears glamorous outside is actually very scientific with a lot of rigor inside. And I think that was the first challenge, to break through and get into that. And as we went ahead, it is easier said than done when we say you have to have an entrepreneur mindset. By being in that shoe or those shoes, I really realized that it's not so easy to become an entrepreneur. So I actually admire everyone who set up this business on their own. I think if I may be not very politically correct, being an entrepreneur is more difficult than being an employee. I think those two challenges at different points of time, something has defined my journey so far. So first in the beginning, getting to the consumer industry, and now becoming an entrepreneur, being an employee. So I have best of both, but that's only made me learn new things, and every day is a new challenge, and every day there's a new learning.
Absolutely. And thank you for a great start to this conversation, Mr. Kaushal. All right. So continuing our conversation, moving on to segment number two, that is building businesses, brands, and scale. Now, Mr. Kaushal, you have built Lupin Life Consumer Healthcare from a blank canvas, literally mind to market. What's one moment when things almost did not go as planned, and how did you turn it around?
So it's difficult to encapsulate everything in a 20-30 minute conversation, maybe in a minute or two. But like I said before, it gave me an opportunity to do something which leaves a legacy behind. Generally, as an employee, when you start something, when you get into a new role, you're taking things forward, improving, getting incremental growths, or maybe even turning around things. But when you get an opportunity, being the employee number one, so I was the first employee here, and you're building something from scratch on a blank canvas, as you said. I think that's something which is unique. Not everyone gets an opportunity to do that. And you can wear an employee's hat as well as an entrepreneur's hat at the same time, and think like them. So it was more or less Lupin being a venture capitalist, investing in my thought in my business idea, and then taking it forward from zero to where we are today at a fully operational scale. I think that's something was attractive enough for me to get into. And every day since then has been a challenge, because when you start something on a zero base, on a clean slate, you can go anywhere. You can become history or you can create history. So our objective was, whatever we do, the thrill of failing as well as uh, being successful was something which was attractive. So every day that has been the case. So I would rate, if I have to just calibrate and then say, okay, maybe rate in terms of which was a more difficult phase, I would say starting germinating the idea to the first formative years, the foundation years. That was a more challenging phase. And then post that, making it operational, now scaling it up. So there are different challenges, but I would still rate starting, getting the startup done, up and running, a sustainable business model. I think that's the first challenge which I think uh, I faced.
Absolutely, Mr. Kaushal. And the way you navigated that crunch really shows strategic thinking under pressure, and it's really fascinating to hear. And it's equally amazing how quickly you pivoted and found a creative solution. The stakes were so high, yet your approach was both pragmatic and bold.
Yeah, I mean, see, when you start something, the stakes definitely are higher, because you're not only answerable to yourself, you're answerable to the shareholders, the stakeholders, the promoters in this case, and you're tested every time. So you have to be true to everybody and to yourself as to what you're taking up. So that, I think, it required all your experience and knowledge so far in your 25 years of uh, working, as well as the experience of both kinds, which is work experience and human experience, which you get even in your off time. So experience is always not only work experience, it's your life experience. All put together was useful for me to navigate this.
That's incredible, Mr. Kaushal. So you have led innovation across multiple companies, Pfizer, Dabur, Dr. Reddy's, and now Lupin. Mr. Kaushal, in your view, what truly drives innovation? Data? Is it intuition? Or is it empathy?
Well, a bit of both. Basically, it's like a child wanting to discover something new. The child is not looking for data. The child is looking for an experience and something new, right? And if the child loves it, that means it meets the need of the child. And if it engages the child, that means it's a sustainable thing, right? And if it is within the child's reach, that means you have done well. So same way, the consumer and the marketeer. The consumer is a curious person, but an undisturbed curious. Means you have to tell them. Sometimes you have to wake them. This is possible. And sometimes the consumer is very overtly mentioning, this is my need. So the needs could be two kinds: a hidden one and something just mentioned. A marketeer's job or a business person's job is to discover that through insights, and that can happen through conversations, through your own intuitions. So it's a combination of everything. What are you trying to solve, and how are you trying to solve? So if you have that childlike curiosity within you, and you're able to capture that spark in the consumer's, I would say, response, you have done your job. So I'll give you an example. If you're doing consumer research and you have a one-line idea, if it delights the consumer, right, you have started well. And of course, then you work on this and take it forward. So, but what kind of idea it is, how it is mentioned, what are the things you have to what you have brought together. I think that's what makes it interesting for the consumer, because before that you have to do a lot of homework. So the homework is not at the consumer's research table, but it's before that. to understand what would a consumer like, and then place it in front of the consumer. Okay, this is what we want. And since we're in healthcare or food, I think there is a lot of intuition and a lot of scientific input which goes into this. So for us to understand whether this will work or not. So I would say it's science, consumer insight, and a bit of science, a bit of art, both together.
Great, Mr. Kaushal. It's fascinating how you balance intuition, data, and empathy. And the story really brings the innovation process to life.
Yeah. So every time when you come with an innovation, it's about what everyone wanted. I mean, in healthcare, the brands which I worked on, uh, we have innovated at different points of time, basically to solve the consumer's problem. We found, okay, the consumer feels sleepy after taking a cough syrup. Let's put an ingredient which solves that problem. If the consumer feels safety is in an Ayurvedic product, there is an inherent safety already in an Ayurvedic product. Let's give the solution in that format. So there are some things which are obvious, there are some things which are scientifically correct. So sometimes consumer may perceive, but science might not really support it. So we have to balance both. The science should be supporting what consumers' perception is, and once they are congruent and they are on the same page, you have achieved what you want. So it's like there might be some lazy customer who said, "I don't want to go to the bank to withdraw money. I want it at the local machine," and that's why ATM came in, right? And same way in healthcare, there are not such magical innovations, but they're innovations which solve everyone's problem. So if I have to take an example of a healthcare issue, in consumer healthcare, it's not a serious issue which consumers face. Consumers face issues which become roadblocks on daily activities. Your cough, cold, your gastric issues, your knee pains, your headaches, all these are not life-threatening issues, but they may be roadblocks in your daily activities. They may be blocking you to achieve your goal, whatever the goal is. So I always think that consumer is the most smartest person. We need to respect the consumer's knowledge and smartness. What we need to do is just help them achieve their goals. So remove those roadblocks, either remove those roadblocks or enhance their ability to achieve their goals. Just do that. The moment you're the consumer's friend, consumer is your friend.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Kaushal. So, on those lines, talking about digitalization, you pioneered digital and e-commerce initiatives even before they were mainstream in FMCG. Now, where do you think brands still go wrong with digital transformation? And what's your mantra for doing it right away?
So it has been evolving industry for a long time. Last 15 years, digital marketing, as we speak, has changed its meaning multiple times. From what it was just a banner advertisement to a video to an AI, it has moved to long distance, and every 6 months or 3 months, it's changing by leaps and bounds. But the key piece is, what are you trying to do here? You're trying to make things easier for the consumer. You don't want to complicate life for the consumer. You want to make it easier. So when you have a meal which is easily accessible, which makes consumer understand properly, which is visual, audiovisual, interactive, I think a marketeer's delight that you can interact with the consumer with an audio visual medium and get real-time feedback. At the same time, you are at the finger click away for selling it, or I would say marketing the product to the consumer. But I think it's a win-win situation for both the consumer and the. So my mantra is simplify. Technology is supposed to simplify, not complicate. We are not here to show how much AI and what do I understand about AI. We want to understand how it can ease the life of a consumer. More simple it is, the consumer is at your doorstep, and that's what a consumer wants. It's not a competition. It's about accessibility. So, healthcare and food has a special responsibility of providing infotainment, information in an entertaining format, because you have to keep the consumer engaged. And I think if you're able to do that in an interactive format, I think digital is the best medium.
Rightly said, Mr. Kaushal, and it's impressive how you foresaw digital opportunities before they were even mainstream. And the early challenges make the success even more compelling.
Yes, I mean, if I have to go back to my Dabur experience where we first started this was more like a small project given to one of my team members as to, okay, can we do this? Let's figure out how do the consumers respond to our campaign. So it was a product-specific site which we created uh, for a well-known brand called Shilajit Gold, if you can take the brand name. And the challenge with the consumer was the consumer was not able to take certain categories in public. So anonymous packaging, anonymous buying, easy accessibility. That problem was solved through this, and I think the budget given to my marketeer, we broke even in 2 months, and then slowly it snowballed into a major project, and later on that became we expanded the portfolio, we added more products into this, and we realized that along with that, when you add medical information, which brings authenticity for the consumer to believe you, I think it becomes a fantastic relationship with the consumer, and that's how this format expanded, became big for us, and of course now there are plenty of platforms to do this. But I think that was my first taste with digital marketing and e-commerce space.
Incredible, Mr. Kaushal. All right, so moving on to the next segment of questions, and this part is my favorite of the podcast. It is called Rapid Fire Round. No essays, no board notes, nothing. First instinctive answers. So, are you ready for it?
Please shoot.
All right. What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
First thing when I wake up is look at my kids. I think that delights my day. Okay, so that's
Nice.
something you should look at something divine, and I think that's something which you do. Either you look at your parents or your kids, whoever is closer at that point of time. So at that point of time, the kids are right next to me, and I'm delighted to see. So I start my day on a positive note.
Lovely. All right, next question. If you weren't a CEO, what do you think you would be doing right now?
I would be, I mean, if I was not in the corporate world, I would be doing plenty of other things. If you've gone through my resume, I think there are plenty of other things which I take my time. I enjoy flying, and also theater. I think I would be indulging in doing creative and innovative work there than what I'm doing here. The theater, the theater room would be different. From a boardroom, it would be a theater or a cockpit.
Lovely. Okay, next question. One food you can never say no to, no matter how fancy the dinner table gets.
Someone's mom making a food for me is something which is I would not say no to. Whatever the dishes, whatever the menu card is. If someone's parent has made something with love, I think that's a you can't say no to that.
Wow. Sounds like a complete family person you are.
I think you strive to do that. I think that's what everyone's main goal is. I mean, it's not if you're talking about 360 degrees growth, 360 degrees balance. So it's all about keeping achieving everything with the same pace, not only your boardroom success. Success for me is 360 is not in one channel alone.
Great. Okay, so moving on to the next question. What's your guilty pleasure after a long week? Is it Netflix, late night drives, or scrolling through LinkedIn pretending it's work?
Well, I wish I had that kind of time available with me. But like I said, if there is that kind of a time, I would definitely do what my uh, original early answer was that I would get in original. I wouldn't say original. It was my original passion, and it stays that way. So which is theater and flying. I think I would give all my time doing that.
Okay, impressive. So you are, imagine, you are stuck in Mumbai traffic. What are you listening to?
I'm perhaps talking to my team members. This is not a hypothetical situation. This is a practical situation in Mumbai almost every day. So most of our work is also done in transit when we are traveling, traveling home to different offices, home to office, or wherever. So I think meeting starts and ends during this, and it becomes productive whether you're there or not there. Today, the acceptance of virtual medium as a meeting platform is well accepted post COVID. I think that really takes care of that. While you may not enjoy the uh, traffic jams, but at least you're getting your work done.
Next question. When was the last time you laughed so hard you cried? Do you remember what it was about?
I think the laughing is almost every day, which I have, as I said, kids are the biggest entertainers with you. So it's almost every day. And at office, you have colleagues, you have friends. So I think it's every day which makes you laugh. And crying is, I mean, I think looking at babies when they were born, I think that's the most delicate moment. And that, of course, brings tears to your eyes. Otherwise, I think I've spent more time laughing than crying.
Okay, nice. All right. Next question. If your younger self met you today, what would he say?
Ah, I don't know what you would say because I don't even know what others say about me because you may have a perception about your own self and you will live in that utopian world. But if I meet my younger self, I would train him to do things in a different way, perhaps. And I still feel the struggles of life should not be taken away. So I would not take away the struggles which I face. But perhaps uh, if it is today, there are different opportunities. I would show him the other opportunities available. But I would not take away the struggles because struggles make you what you become later on. So I would show him the different directions are available. That's his choice, which way he wants to go and how he wants to struggle and what he wants to become. And perhaps meet him 20 years later to understand where he landed.
Amazing. All right. So the last question of the rapid fire round: if your life were a movie, what would the title be?
It would be called strange or eccentric. Yeah. So many things which we do may appear to be strange decisions, while it may like every action which you take, even taking up this role of as a founding leader for this business, was also something which would not consider as a most attractive role because it can be suicidal. When you start something new, you can fail. So there is always a chance of failing when you start something new. And generally, any secure person would want to pick up something which is doing well and you take it further. You're able to show something. But I think the thrill of that was something which attracted me, which may not attract everybody else. So in my personal and professional life, certain decisions which I take, the first response which I get from people is strange. So I think that's what in inverted commas I would say strange or eccentric is what I would name it.
I love your answers, truly, Mr. Anil Kaushal. And you have clearly got the right mix of focus and fun, balance between your professional and personal life. And it's nice to see the leader behind the numbers, the human side that people don't always get to hear about.
I think human factor is what makes you leader. Machines don't make you leader. I mean, so you work with leaders. If you are successful, because of your team, right? So even if I was the first employee when I joined, I think would have not reached where we reached today uh, without a team. So every team member who has worked with us in this journey, I call them founding members. I call all my team members as founding members because I tell them that every brick in this building has their name, right? So it's not on one person's building; it's everyone's building, and they will leave behind a legacy. And I think that's a matter of pride. So these human emotions, these human elements make a business. And when you keep a team together, keep them motivated, and you are people's person, yeah, I think work is a byproduct. Work comes easily. But if you're a machine, then human being becomes a byproduct.
Rightly said, Mr. Kaushal. Okay, so moving on to the next segment of questions and talking about the challenges that the industry faces, Mr. Kaushal. Every industry goes through moments that test its ethics And we have all seen headlines where consumers' trust gets shaken, whether through exaggerated claims, misleading advertisements, or quality lapses. Now, from your experience in consumer healthcare and FMCG, what do you think leads to these cracks in integrity? And more importantly, how can leaders make sure that innovation and marketing never ever cross the line into manipulation?
A very good question, I think, because the issue of product integrity, uh, issue of business ethics, I think industry agnostic. It's not about only healthcare and consumer business. I think every business you need to have this. This is a value which you carry, not a business point or a business slogan. It's a value. Once you carry this as a human value, I think, and it has to flow from the top. If you as a leader and your team believe in these values, you will be able to deliver on this. I remember my interaction with founder of Lupin, Dr. D.V. Gupta. Uh, he was the first person who actually, when we were working on the business plan, who gave one single, I would say, statement or guiding statement to us, which is, Anil, be honest to the consumer. And he's been running the one of the largest made in India pharmaceutical company in the world, which is Lupin Pharmaceuticals, which is the parent company of which my business, LupinLife Consumer Healthcare, is a subsidiary. But I think it's his inspiring lines which becomes a north star for us today. So when a person who has established a pharmaceutical company which is dealing with consumers' health every day on a daily basis, he believes honesty is the most important value, not price, not uh, packaging, not look, not claims, but it's all about honesty. I think then it's very clear what you follow. And how do you become honest in such cases? First of all, like you said, you stick to the claims which are scientifically proven. It's so simple as that, right? You may, as a marketeer, articulate differently, but you don't lie. And I think right in the beginning, when I said, when you authenticate your claims through science, consumers start believing you because science has backed that. And the slogan which my company has, or the tagline which we use, is life inspired by science. Lupin Life, life inspired by science. So every product which we have launched so far has solid scientific or robust scientific backup. I think that's something which gives us enough confidence that we're going to the consumer, we are honest to them. And I think that's a responsibility of every marketer or every business person. Bring to the consumer product which is true to them and not just which has one value and the main basic value of honesty and transparency missing. If you follow that, I don't think it's a difficult task. So it's not only food, FMCG, or healthcare; it's in every industry, as I said. If you follow this, you are able to deliver anything. So innovations with this frame of reference of honesty and scientific backup, I think you will be able to deliver. It's a non-negotiable value.
Absolutely non-negotiable, Mr. Kaushal. And it's insightful how you highlight the real pressures behind these decisions. And it really shows the human side of leadership. And hearing about the tough choices and how you prioritize integrity always makes the story very relatable and tangible.
See, if I may talk about healthcare specifically, consumers they take time to trust products because healthcare is all about your body, your health. You have to consume this on a daily basis. So it takes time to build trust with consumers. And once you have gained that trust, the consumer stays with you. So the loyalty of the consumer also is there for a long time. I think everyone should be investing time in getting the trust. So the dollars you spend, every cent you spend, is more about acquiring consumers' trust rather than consumers. We are not looking at fan following. We're looking at trust. I think even if your product might be fantastic looking product, it has great aesthetics and has great claims, but if it lacks the trust value, you have not done your job.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Kaushal. So that brings us to the last question of the podcast. You have recently been associated with Directors Institute World Council of Directors. So the obvious question: what drew you to join the institute in the first place?
As I said, every day you want to learn something. Maybe you have been in both situations before, but there's always a different way of doing things. Maybe there's a structured way of doing things. So I'm a very curious and a student of life. And I think uh, joining a prestigious institute does give you that opportunity to quickly absorb, imbibe, and learn what happens in a structured and a simulated environment. While there might be practical experiences behind you, but there's always a better way of. It's like driving, learning driving at your home and then joining a driving institute.
Great. Great, Mr. Kaushal. So let me tell you, this has truly been an exceptional conversation. From your early beginnings in the world of pharmacy to steering some of the biggest names in FMCG and healthcare, and now leading Lupin Life Consumer Healthcare, your journey shows what it really means to build something from the ground up with both vision and heart. And what I personally loved about today's discussion is, you know, how you made leadership sound so human, not just about numbers or strategies. It's about people, it's about curiosity, and it's about the courage to keep reinventing yourself and learning always stays.
Thanks. I think that's something which we have learned over the years, what matters, what you should do, and what you should prioritize. Because uh, numbers follow great people, great team. And once you have a great team, ups and downs are part and parcel of life as well as business. But once you have a great team, you're bound to win eventually.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Kaushal. So thank you once again for bringing not just your experience, but your authenticity to FaceTime with leaders. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for a brilliant conversation. Pleasure connecting with you. Pleasure speaking with you, Sunny. Thank you.
And to the lovely audience watching this, I'm your host, Anil V, and this has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. Until next time, until next episode, stay curious, stay grounded, and as Mr. Kaushal reminded us today, lead with purpose and passion. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.